Jack Reynolds never imagined that so-called HOA security would storm his backyard and drag his 6-year-old daughter Emma by the hair. These fake enforcers, hired by corrupt board members, used fear and violence to control innocent families like his. But Jack's fierce love and quick action with his M4 changed everything in an instant. Just wait until you hear how justice was brutally restored and why this family's fight ended in a shocking, unforgettable victory. My name is Jack Reynolds. I've always believed that our quiet suburban neighborhood in Texas was a safe place, a place where I could raise my daughter, Emma, without fear. That summer afternoon started like any other. The sun was warm, casting a soft golden glow over our backyard. Emma was sitting on the grass, her small hands clutching her favorite doll, her laughter filling the air with a kind of innocent joy that only a 6-year-old can bring. We were playing together, lost in that perfect little moment of peace when everything changed in an instant. Out of nowhere, a dull gray van pulled slowly down our street and stopped right in front of our house. 2 men stepped out, dressed in dark uniforms. They looked official at first glance, but there was something off. Their badges didn't match any police department I knew, and their uniforms only had patches that read HOA Security. No real police insignia, no clear authority. Before I could even stand up or ask who they were, they walked right into our yard like they owned the place. My voice caught in my throat. My heart pounded louder with every step they took. Then one of them reached down and grabbed Emma, not gently but with a harsh grip, by the hair, pulling her up from the grass. Her little face twisted in shock and fear. The world around me seemed to freeze. "Hey, what are you doing to my daughter?" I shouted, my voice cracking with panic and disbelief. They didn't answer. They just kept dragging her toward the van, ignoring my calls, my desperate pleas. The shock slammed into me like a thunderclap. These weren't real cops. These men were imposters, and they were taking my child. I was frozen for a second, disbelief and horror clashing inside me. Then rage ignited like wildfire. I dropped everything and ran toward them, my blood boiling, my mind focused on one thing: saving Emma. Those men, they weren't real cops. I found out later they were part of a shadowy enforcement group hired by the Homeowners Association Board. But this wasn't about keeping peace or safety. No, these board members were obsessed with control, with power, and intimidation was their weapon of choice. Their whole authority was a carefully built facade, a mask to bully residents into submission. They thrived on fear, believing no one would dare challenge them. They wanted total obedience, and anyone who stood up was met with threats and force. The more I understood what they were, the deeper my hatred grew. Their arrogance was staggering, like they were untouchable, above the law, and worse, completely blind to the damage they caused. Emma's terrified screams echoed in my mind, a haunting sound I couldn't shake. Every second they kept her in their grasp felt endless, stretching time into unbearable agony. It wasn't just fear for her safety. It was the sickening realization that these men thought they could act with impunity, that they could use violence and intimidation against a family without consequences. I felt a crushing weight of powerlessness settle over me. But beneath it, something else burned fierce and raw: rage. A fury only a parent can know, a fire ignited by the sight of your child in danger, by injustice so blatant it demands a response. This was every parent's worst nightmare playing out before my eyes. But I refused to be a bystander. I knew I had to act, and I had to act fast. Without a second thought, I sprinted inside the house. Every muscle in my body was tense, driven by a surge of adrenaline I hadn't felt before. I knew exactly where to go: the safe where I kept my M4. I never wanted to use it, but I kept it locked away for emergencies. This was one of them. My mind narrowed to a single purpose: bring Emma back, safe, no delays, no hesitation. Bursting back through the front door, I faced those 2 men, their smug faces twisted into sneers as they saw me approach. They thought this was a game. "Drop her!" I growled, voice cold and steady. They laughed, clearly underestimating me. That smugness was their fatal flaw. With years of training sharpening my focus, I raised the rifle steadily and fired warning shots. Sharp cracks that shattered the van's windows and echoed through the street. Panic flickered across their faces, replacing arrogance with fear. One of them lunged toward Emma again, desperate and reckless. I didn't hesitate. The sharp reports of gunfire rang out, forcing them to release her grip. Emma scrambled free, tears streaming down her cheeks, but she was safe. I caught her in my arms, holding her tight, my heartbeat pounding louder than ever. "I'm here," I whispered, my voice fierce but full of comfort. "You're safe now." Within minutes, the sound of real sirens cut through the tension. Police arrived, true officers of the law, called by neighbors who'd heard the gunshots and realized something was terribly wrong. The fake HOA cops didn't stand a chance. They were arrested right there, charged with kidnapping, assault, and impersonating law enforcement. Their web of lies and intimidation began to unravel in front of everyone. The HOA board's dark secrets were laid bare. Corrupt members exposed for hiring these thugs to bully and control the neighborhood. Under the weight of community outrage and legal action, their reign crumbled. The board was dismantled. Justice taking its rightful course. That night, I sat quietly beside Emma's bed, watching her sleep, peaceful, safe, and sound. Her hair, once pulled roughly, now lay soft and free as she dreamed without fear. The shock that had gripped us earlier had faded, but inside me, a fierce, silent vow remained. No one would ever threaten my family again. Justice wasn't just restored. It was forged in the fire of a father's love and unwavering refusal to be powerless. And that truth gave me a strength nothing could break.